All right, everyone. Welcome back to our regular meeting, the 7 o'clock meeting. We just adjourned the 5:30 meeting earlier. I'm going to call this meeting to order. Please rise for the invocation from Pastor Michael Mathis, and please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Almighty God, once again, O Lord, it is you that we call on this evening. And we thank you for your loving kindness. And we ask, God, first, that you would have mercy according to your loving kindness on our wretched souls. And we thank you, Lord, for giving us an opportunity to depend on you in everything that we deal with. And as we move forward, we continue to give you thanks. 2025 was a tough year, but it was a blessed year for the town of Hope Mills. And we thank you. You say give thanks in all things. And so we thank you, God, for what you have done. And we thank you for how we've entered into 2026. We all know that it's going to be a challenging year. But I believe, God, that we all have the ability to overcome anything, God, that we're confronted with when we depend on you. So we thank you now, and we ask you, Almighty God, to continue to keep a hedge of protection around Mel Bellflower and his family, granting him the continued courage and the things that he needs to do that's right. We pray, God, the same thing for all the council members. Oh God, it is you, Lord, that place people in positions of leadership. We don't understand it. We think it's votes, and it is. But God, you are the one that do things that we don't understand. And so we thank you for all of the council members. We especially thank you for our law enforcement agency, that you would keep your guardian angels around their back as they put their lives in harm's way. Especially their families with people in the way that they think now, taking out things on family and innocent people because of a person trying to do their job. God, have mercy on them. And we thank you for our fire department, also willing to put their lives in harm's way. God, you have always been the only true and living God that we can depend on. And so we put everything into your hands today. The agenda and all that we could ever discuss, God, we give thanks to you. In Jesus' name, amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to welcome everyone that's in attendance tonight and those that are viewing our meeting by live stream. Commissioner Marley is in Hope County tonight, so he will try to arrive and attend our meeting. He may be late, of course. Commissioner Trimmel will not be here for our meeting tonight. She is at home caring for her mother, who is very ill. And I would ask that you keep her and her family in your thoughts and prayers, as this is a tough time for her and her family. Item number 1, approval of agenda. Do we have additions or deletions to our agenda tonight?
Yes, Mayor. I'd like to make a motion to add item number 9 for closed session.
You got to read the whole thing.
Motion to I'm sorry. Thank you.
You're good. You're good.
Motion to conduct a closed session pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143-318-11 A6 to discuss personnel matters.
Okay, we have a motion to add a closed session. It will be item 9. We have a second. Any other additions or deletions to the agenda? If not, all those in favor? Seeing none opposed, agenda is approved. Official comments. We start off with, everybody's got a copy, plus it's on the board too, our town manager's report. Janser?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, board members, and everyone in attendance tonight, and everyone in our listening audience. Um, as the mayor routinely does say, these things are getting longer and longer. So I will try to pace myself with this one. But on the front page for the community corner, there is a stakeholder conversation on the 29th of January with FAST. And it's important because we actually are having very fruitful conversations about regional transportation. Mayor Beth Flowers, former Commissioner Joanne Scarola, myself, Spring Lake, we've been meeting with FAST probably for about the last 6 months, and we've talked about transportation for a while, but we haven't had conversation till recently about rideshare locations and a second fast hub and specific stops around Hope Mills. So that is something that is very real. This particular meeting is to go over the final recommendations of the study that they have been conducted. We also have Hope Mills Cottontail Trail vendors are being asked to participate. The Hope Mills Homelessness Committee is getting some steam. I met with some of the members on last week. They are asking for volunteers as a partner with the Continuum of Care Foundation for the pit count, where they get together and do counts to actually identify homeless people in the county. They're asking for volunteers. The counts are Thursday, January 22nd through Friday, January 23rd. But you can reach out to Cumberland County Continuum of Care if you want to volunteer. The next page, I'm giving shout outs to our emergency services, which are our fire departments. They are giving data of the entire year in review. Total call volume is 2,123 calls last year. They did provide a very extensive year in review, total staff training hours, total inspections, smoke alarm installs, things of that nature. Hope Mills Police Department wanted to thank everyone that helped donate to make Law Enforcement Appreciation Day something that was powerful. The Hope Mills Area Land Use Plan. We held our last community meeting on January 14th. But what I wanted to explain with these next two sheets is basically to the general public. We had heard for years about the growth in Hope Mills and ways to actually control the growth. Well, a lot of people didn't realize when we had our first kickoff meeting back in October, before that, the county staff, along with our staff, created a steering committee. Steering committee includes members of the Economic Development Committee meeting, Cumberland County staff, but citizens who were gracious enough to volunteer as well. Their committee roles are review public information, serve as an advisory capacity, review materials provided through feedback from the general public. And right now, like I said, we had our last community meeting. This is about a 9 to 12 month process, so we still had about 6 months. We're about halfway there, but we're now transitioning to the recommendations in the committee on what areas may need to have land use changes to be able to say, are there areas where we can cap certain types of development? Are there areas where we can ensure that you're not having the saturation in vape shops and used car lots and things of that nature? But this is a long process, and I want people to know that we actually have heard from the people. The second page actually talks about what a land use plan actually is. What can a land use plan do? It can capture a community's vision for the future. It can serve as a broad-based long-range planning tool. It can serve as a guide to encourage safety, efficiency, things of that nature. But what can a land use plan not do? It cannot change the current use of a property. It cannot change the current zoning of a property, and it can't change the current value of the property. It's really meant as a guide. The next page, I'm speaking about the North Carolina League of Municipalities Municipal Accounting Services Program. That is basically called the MAS program, but that's the program that we're doing with Witt O'Brien for our grants. This page explains why the actual grant program was started by the League of Municipalities, but it provides you the breakdown of the $630,000 that we've actually received in grants out of the $90,000 that we've invested so far. Safe Streets for All, Part F grant, it provides what project each one of those grants went to, everything down to ballistic vests for our police department. This speaks to how wide-ranging this grant program is, because a lot of us would have never known that there was a Firehouse Subs grant that you can get ballistic vests for. We wouldn't have known that. The next page tells you the grants we have in progress. There's an additional $633,000 that we've applied for that we're waiting to hear back from. Included in that, if you see the Land, Water, and Conservation Fund, that is the Heritage Park Phase 2 match for the original Part F grant we got for $500,000 for Heritage Park Phase 2. Next page goes to infrastructure improvements. Don spoke about this. I went out and took some photographs. The first photograph, you see the one on the far right, it shows you one of the portions of the sidewalks that are actually being installed now. That's close. That's actually at the intersection of Waldo's Beach coming back this way. That's probably, Don will tell you, that's probably about the biggest roadway project in town limits. Now, 295 is 295, but Camden, that's a massive DOT project. The next project, we all know about Rockfish and Godfrey Road widening. It appears that they're now transitioning over to doing some heavy work on the Rockfish side. They actually are doing still work on Godfrey as well. The Legion Road closure, we announced that several weeks ago. We did a press release. The image you see here is a picture of the road closure, and just to let everybody know that it started on the 12th of January. It is expected to last up to 6 weeks. If we hear anything different, we'll let everyone know. We're transitioning to the next slide, which is residential construction. The one apartments are well underway. Our inspections department has actually begun COing some of the actual building, so you actually have residents moving in, but I would say more than half of it is still under construction. Sweetwater is a single-family residential development across the street from Elk Road. That's in here because we just completed construction in Sweetwater, and I think our Public Works Department is going through street acceptance. Next page, you have more residential construction underway. Pembroke subdivision is off of Blackbridge Road. It connects to the existing Blackbridge Village subdivision as well as Steeplechase. I think they built about 7 of the 79 houses. All of the infrastructure is in, but these are pictures of the 7 houses that they do have that are close to completion. In terms of commercial construction, this is one of my favorites. The Hive at Hope Mills is very, very close to completion. This is similar to the Haymont food truck park. I would say ours is a little different because it's a community center with it. It has a lot of outdoor space. It's adjacent to our park. We're talking to partner with them and things of that nature. But one of the key things they're doing that is very, very important is they just finished laying the underground electrical lines underground so that when you see food trucks out there, the food trucks can plug in directly and you don't hear the generators.
Good stuff.
That is doing a great deal at reducing and almost outright eliminating a lot of the actual side noise to adjacent properties. And the final 2 sheets will always remain DOT construction updates. And that does conclude the manager's report for this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Chancellor. We'll go into board member comments. I'll start with Commissioner Hamilton and work my way in.
Good evening, everybody. I'd just like to welcome everybody. Thanks for coming out on this cold night tonight, and hope you enjoy your evening here with us. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Mitchell.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for being here. I want to take this time to say winter is coming. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Didn't you chair a VFW meeting here the other night, awards ceremony?
Yes.
Would you like to highlight that?
I'll let you do it.
Okay.
You did a good job.
Mayor Pro Tem Hope Page.
Thank you, Mayor. Excuse my voice. I had a dental procedure about 6 hours ago today, so I'm still a little sore. But thank you for everyone coming out, and thank you for those that are watching virtually. And I also want to say great job and congratulations to the Hope Mills Park and Rec on, I believe I read it was a grant for $10,200 that was received for Have a Seat in Hope Mills at the lake.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That's an awesome job, and I'm so excited for the chair because I'm short, so I always want to get in one of those big chairs that I'm envisioning that's going to be there. So hopefully I'll be able to meet that goal and get in the chair and take a picture with the Hope Mills sign on the back of that chair. But good job, and thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Pastor Mathis has left, and I wanted to thank him for his words of wisdom and inspiration for us. Also want to highlight Joanne Scarola, who served on the last board. She is here tonight. And it looks like we have a lot of the members, or some of the members here from Historic Preservation Commission is here, so their presentation's coming up. I'd like to highlight 11 pages now. Yes, it's up to 11 pages. It's very detailed. We're finally over 10, and it continues to grow in every meeting. And I cannot emphasize enough, take the time. If you want to know what's happening in Hope Mills, right here it is. Right here it is. And if you notice, the community corner starts with this. Hope Mills moves forward when its people move together. That's who we are. This is an 11-page representation of where we are tonight, and it will continue to grow. I really think it'll make it to 15 eventually. We're doing something a little different with committee reports. I just wanted to highlight that. In every other month, the second meeting of that month, we will have committee reports, and we invite the chairs of each committee to present the reports from their committees. So it's a little bit different. The liaisons will, of course, be here, but we're going to invite the chairs of the committees to present from their committees a report, to include an update from our Hope Mills Area Chamber of Commerce will also be part of the committee reports. And I just wanted to highlight that. That will be coming up in the second meeting in February. Lastly, my applause goes out to the 1,200 people that came out on a cold day to celebrate and fellowship with Martin Luther King Jr. at the Crown. It was a huge event. It truly was. This year's event was probably one of the largest events that I have been to in a number of years. When you run out of food, then you know that you got a lot of folks. But you know what? We didn't go there for food. We went there for fellowship. We went there for the message. And I just wanted to highlight that. Commissioner Mitchell was there. Mayor Pro Tem Hope Page was there. Police chief was there, along with the fire chief was there, and our town manager was there at our table. And it was an inspiring message. I just wanted to highlight again, the key theme of this year is, where do we go from here? I want you to think about that statement. Where do we go from here? It was very inspirational, and I just wanted to add that in. Okay, that wraps it up for me. Presentations are next. Number 3, item A, proclamation recognizing National School Choice Week. That's under tab 1. Proclamation National School Choice Week, whereas all children in Hope Mills should have access to the highest quality education possible, and whereas from Alaska, the great state of Alaska, to New York, America will light up in yellow and red to raise awareness about K-12 education opportunities during National School Choice Week 2026, and whereas there are a variety of school choice options available for many of the 2.3 million children living in North Carolina, Families in North Carolina can choose from traditional public schools, public charter schools, public magnet schools, private schools, online academies, and homeschooling. And whereas educational variety not only helps to diversify our economy, but also enhances the vibrancy of our community. And whereas Hope Mills has many high-quality teaching professionals in all types of school settings who are committed to educating our children. And whereas School Choice Week is celebrated across the country by millions of students, parents, educators, schools, organizations to raise awareness of the need for effective educational options. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Jesse Bellflowers, do hereby recognize January 25th to January 31st, 2026 as National School Choice Week in Hope Mills and call its observance to the attention of all of our citizens. As an educator myself, and I know Jason Kennedy is sitting here from FTCC, he is also an educator. And our former Mayor Pro Tem, who is at home tonight, probably watching our meeting, Dr. Kenwana McCray. We value education. We believe in education. And twice a week, I'm in Jack Britt, like I'll be tomorrow at 2, where I teach a college course, Introduction to Business at Jack Britt, and I've got 13 students that are in that class, and it's probably the hallmark of my week because they inspire me. They truly, truly do. And I just kind of wanted to share that. Item A, I've got that. Item B, Historic Preservation Commission, certified local government status. There are no attachments. Who wants to brief this one? You got it, Chancellor?
I'll start it off.
Okay.
One thing I want to say, and I talked to Commissioner Marley, who contacted me on behalf of the HPC because he's their liaison. I wanted to start this off because I wanted the HPC to know that they have the full support of our staff. If you recall, they have been talking about the certified local government status for quite some time, but there was one little barrier that was in place that we actually hurdled recently, and it was the reinstatement of them as a commission. And so I wanted to read into the record some of the history of the CLG program before I turn it over to the HPC chair. The Certified Local Government Program. In 1980, Congress amended the National Historic Preservation Act of 1966 to require each state to establish a procedure by which local governments may be certified to participate in a national framework of historic preservation programs. This requirement has become the Certified Local Government CLG program, in which many North Carolina counties and cities participate. Since Congress created a preservation program for the United States in 1966, the National Historic Preservation Program has operated as a decentralized partnership between the federal government and the states. The federal government established a program of identification, evaluation, and protection of historic properties and gave the states primary responsibilities for carrying out this program. The success of that working relationship prompted Congress to expand the partnership to provide for participation by local governments. Another thing I would say, the HPC in good hands are in good hands of the leadership. We talked about, I was telling Mrs. Reeves about, hey, I think the 7 things listed that you need to be able to submit, I think we're good since we got the commission. He says, no, we still got to work with the guidelines. And so we had a philosophical conversation about, is the generic guidelines that we adopted from the state sufficient enough, or do they have to do a set of guidelines that are the thick 60-page versions? We're not sure. I just wanted them to know, and why I told Commissioner Marley I wanted this on the agenda, I wanted to publicly state that the HPC does have the full backing of the CLG certification of staff. So anything that we need to do from a staff level, you have our full support.
Greetings, Sharon. Good to see you again.
There,
Yeah,
press my button.
there you go.
Okay, do you have any questions for me?
I don't know if we have any questions, but do you have any questions for us? That might be.
Well,
That
one
might
of
be
the,
where we're
one of the
going.
guidelines that we do have to, fulfill is that at least 2 members of the commission, 1 staff member, and 1 governing board member must attend a course on CLG training once a year to maintain that. And I know Commissioner Scarola had already done that for us last year, but we do need a current seating Board of Commissioner, and I believe Mr. Marley showed some interest in that. Normally, when you have your staff member, it has to be a paid staff member. Normally, it's somebody within your planning, your zoning, or town management area. I mean, to me, I love you, Emily, but to me, it would be someone like Emily, because it's working with zoning and planning and whatnot. But it's not like you have to go, you know, for a week and go to a bunch of classes. It's usually just the one that I attended back in April lasted for like 3 or 4 hours, and it was online. So, I mean, it's not like a difficult requirement to meet, as well as completion of our guidelines. That was my question is, you know, we just need someone from the staff and the governing body to partner with us.
The staff member that belongs to Chancellor. The governing body belongs to us, and the liaison is Commissioner Brian Marley.
Right.
He will be the board member.
Okay.
And I will say what we did last year, very easy. I think it was a School of Government training. I think we registered you and registered Commissioner Scarola, so we can do that same. We'll just register the staff member and Commissioner Marley. It's very simple. It's not like we have to do anything but take the 3-hour course. And so that's something now what I'll do is research to see when the next course is.
They don't have it listed. I looked on the website
Okay,
this afternoon.
that's what I was getting
and
at.
the 2026 hasn't been listed yet.
So we can track it, and as soon as it's available, we'll go ahead and sign that up. That's nothing that would that would require board approval, but we'll let you know. But we'll
Is this training virtual?
it was last year.
Yeah, it can be virtual,
Okay.
or it can be in person. I think there was one, was it in Hendersonville that we had talked about
Yeah.
maybe going to? It's a Saturday. It's a one-day event. And then it's kind of cool, I think. I think being in person, you really get to sit down and talk to people, you know, from other commissions around the state and things like that, and kind of network maybe a little bit. We get all the emails and things from other commissions, but it's just something about having that personal conversation, but it does not have to be an in-person conference.
Okay. I agree with you. Maybe the board member and staff member could do it virtual, but I believe maybe that in person should actually be someone from the HBC. And I do, and that would be your choice. But I really do believe that should be an in-person session because of the amount of materials that can be brought back and shared with the commission.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
So is the board in agreement with that? Is that good? Absolutely. Consensus? Okay.
Any other questions or anything else you wanted to add to that?
We good?
Let me pull my list out. Just kidding.
Okay. All right, this is Karen Saracen. And
Okay.
we're gonna discuss our hopeful Charter Day
Yes.
celebrations. And this is kind of an important Charter Day because it's also don't make me say the official word. It's the 250th anniversary
135th.
of the United States. And the 135th anniversary
I knew we
of
were
the Hope
We
Mills
rehearsed
Charter.
that, actually. That was part of our skit.
So I'll turn it over to her.
welcome, Karen.
Thank you. Well, we had our meeting last week, and we were discussing Charter Day. Charter Day is a very important event in the history of the town of Hope Mills. And even though we are the Historical Preservation Commission, for us to take on this venture is a huge venture to take on. We were hoping to have it at Heritage Park and showcase Heritage Park and invite like-minded agencies like our own, other historical preservation organizations throughout the state, have honored guests who personally know the history of the town, political figures such as Kurt DeVere, Val Applewhite, Francis Jackson, and doing this on our own, we're not going to be able to do this on our own, meaning the HPC. So we're here because we're not looking for money. We're looking for other stakeholders, because it will be on a Saturday over by Heritage Park, so that road would have to be closed, right, maybe?
Yes, so I talked to Karen, Mrs. Sorensen, and what she's basically speaking on is us gathering together to help plan it out. It's not a financial request, but I know Don Cisco, I think, aren't you guys partnering with Arts and Culture Committee as well on this?
And, one thing, the Arts and Cultural Committee, and Ms. Burnett, you can correct me if I'm wrong, we were talking about like okay. I always have a vision, okay? And my vision is kind of like, imagine like maybe at the turn of the century where you would have a picnic, a cookout, and a brass band. And they were gonna provide the brass band to do some patriotic things and whatnot, so we'd have entertainment music to listen to. But there's just a lot more other things that we
It is. It is. One thing we've already done at a preliminary basis, Don Cisco has provided me a map that shows the closures that we need. It would not need a resolution because they're only town roads. And so what I was talking to HBC about is possibly setting up a committee of all the people that staff and them that we can help plan this out. We may have to include PD to talk about traffic control. We may need to, we already got
Like
the
a
input.
cohort. Like a cohort.
Yes, and so something where what they're asking us to do is help them elevate this event. And this is a celebration of the charter of the town. And so they're asking for all of us to come together to help.
Mr. Mayor.
Commissioner Mitchell, go ahead.
This is an initial phase, initial discussion, correct?
Well, Charter Day is on March 14th,
March 14th?
so we have,
Oh, we should have had a plan put together already.
Okay. You know, every Thursday, we have a successful committee called Plan Review. We probably need to establish an event review committee with all the events that we have ongoing in the town, because it involves all of our departments, just like Plan Review does. My suggestion would be to update the board and the community at our next meeting on February 2nd. Let's revisit this, but let's have a plan in place on February 2nd.
Right, absolutely.
That can be executed, and then we'll work it from there. Is that good?
okay.
And what I'll do is work with them to get the committee formed, have a meeting prior to February 2nd,
Yes.
and that way it's an update to you guys on what
Absolutely,
the plan of action is.
Yes.
Just everybody, I would say moving parts piece, but you probably would just get a collection of key people that you feel
Yes.
that will be needed, whether it's people from outside entities or our staff. It may be a pastor or another organization you guys want to pull in. It's just whatever we need to be able to logistically talk about planning it out.
Mr. Mayor,
Commissioner Mitchell?
I'll help you if you need it, because I put stuff like this together all the time. However, lay out your vision so that you can put together your plan. That way, what's your objective overall when this event is over with? And then work with you. I know you can make it happen because that's what you do also. It's a done deal.
Well, I don't do it to this level. This is a town event. This is not, this involves thousands of people also.
you.
It can be thousands of people. Maybe we'll be happy with a few hundred. But it is a huge event because it is our 135th anniversary of the charter, of the establishment of this town. So it's not an HPC event, it's a town event.
Lamarco and with his two Megans, they got that.
And it's also very educational.
That's why Chancellor's going to put together an event review committee of all the departments. He'll schedule that and put together everybody and bring your vision to the table, and let's talk it out. Let's work it, and then come back February 2nd, let's see what we got.
Okay, thank you.
Is that it?
That's it.
Oh, that's easy. Okay, thank you very much for coming. Next item is number 4, public hearing. A 2025-11, lying in Rockfish Township near Hope Mills, Cumberland County, in North Carolina. This subject property being bound on the north by lots 116 through 120 Sheffield Farms North, Section 2, as described and recorded in Plat Book 118, page 93, Cumberland County Registry, bounded on the east by property conveyed to John McNeil Ray Jr. and Robert Neal Ray, as described and recorded in Deed Book 9887, page 305, Cumberland County Registry, bound on the south of the northern right of way margin on Muscat Road, which is SR 1119, and bounded on the west by the eastern right margin of Fairhaven Trail, and that's under tab 2. Emily?
Thank you. Quick summary is Town of Hope Mills voted to accept the petition for annexation on December 1st, 2025, submitted by Lori Epler with Larry King and Associates on behalf of Edward Barham with Barham Builders, LLC. It comprises 2.44 acres. Subject property is adjacent to Sheffield Farms, which is a single-family development and undeveloped rural residential property, all within the county's jurisdiction. Access to the property will most likely be from Fairhaven Trail. Board of Commissioners approved Resolution R2026-001 on January 5th, fixing the public hearing to today's meeting, January 20th. Staff is requesting authorization to proceed with initially zoning the property under R7.5 residential district. Here is a sketch map showing the location of the property. This is to give you an idea of town limits. The darker orange at the south is town limits, whereas the lighter tan khaki colored areas are county, and the blue is the property in question. And you'll notice half of the subdivision is in the county, half is in the town. But if you have any other questions, or I invite you to open the floor for public hearing.
Motion to open public hearing.
Do I have a second? Have a motion and a second to open public hearing. All those in favor? Seeing none opposed, public hearing is open. Is there anyone here that would like to speak in favor of A 2025-11? Emily, could you put that slide back up so I make sure that the prior slide? Not that one. Nope. Nope. Keep going. That one. Okay, is there anyone here that wants to speak in favor of A 2025-11, where staff is requesting authorization to proceed with the process to initially zone the property under the R7.5 residential district? If so, please come forward to the mic.
My name is Larry King Associates. I'm just here if you have any questions.
Does the board have any questions?
None.
None? We thank you, sir. Is there anyone else here that would like to speak in favor of A 2025-011? Seeing none, is there anyone here that opposes A 2025-011, whereas staff is requesting authorization to proceed with the process to initially zone the property under the R7.5 residential district? Is there anyone here that wants to speak in opposition of A 2025-011? Seeing none, do I have a motion to close public hearing?
Motion to close public hearing.
Second?
Second.
Have a motion, have a second. All in favor? Seeing none opposed, public hearing is closed.
Mr. Mayor,
Do we have an action?
I'd like to, make a motion to approve annexation of A 2025-011 and authorize staff to begin the initial zoning process to designate the property as R7.1 residential district.
.5. Or 7.5.
Yeah, that's all right.
R7.5. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. All those in favor? Oh.
I'm not.
Sure which way it was going to go. Seeing none opposed, motion carries. Emily, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Public comments? Item 5. There are none? There are no public comments. I meant to recognize members of Artist Village are with us tonight, and I just wanted to make sure that I recognize. Consent agenda is number 6. Items A, B, and C.
Motion to approve consent agenda.
Motion to approve consent agenda A, B, and C.
A, B, and C, yes.
Okay. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion, have a second to approve the consent agenda as presented, A, B, and C. All in favor? Seeing none opposed, consent agenda is approved. That's the end of the consent agenda. We go to item 7, old business as usual. There are none. So we right down to number 8, new business. We thank you, sir, for coming. Item 8, consideration and approval of budget amendment number 18 for the police department in the amount of $1,500, tab 6. Chancellor, you got this, or the chief?
We good. You good?
Just use ESSER forfeiture funds to continue our initiative to send all lieutenants and above to the West Point Leadership Program for leadership training.
Excellent program, too.
Yes, sir.
The return on investment will be excellent, as you well know, chief.
Yes, sir.
Have a motion?
You got, make a motion to approve budget amendment number 18 for the police department in the amount of $1,500.
A second.
We have a motion. We have a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Seeing none opposed, motion carries. Item B, which is authorizing the town manager to negotiate and execute an amendment to the original lease agreement with the T.J. Robertson Life Center and approval of corresponding budget amendment number 19 in the amount of $4,600 under tab 7. Welcome, Lamarco.
Thank you. I'm thinking I answered all the questions you all had. I kind of lost count a little bit, but I think there's one other piece that I didn't remember. I didn't remember. I don't know if you had a chance to answer the question.
It was a question about if the contract was invalid because it basically said 30,000, and what I was explaining was because the amount is less than that. There's language in the contract that says an amount not to exceed 30,000. So the contract is valid, but the reason why you're here tonight is because you are needing to exceed the 30,000, which is why you need to do an amendment to the contract with an additional budget amendment to add for additional costs.
The 30,000, which was I think the original amount would have came up to something like 29,820. The additional 180 is contingency. You know, I mean, things happen. We may go over an hour or two or something like that. That just keeps us from having to come back to you guys, and it accounts for that. And so what we're doing tonight is trying to get ahead of the curve and approve the additional time so that we don't go over the 30,000. Just for those that's streaming live, the reason why we're doing the amendment is because we did have an additional 4 teams, which means more people. And we expended the original 42, 43 hours that we thought we would need based on what we knew at the time. But of course, with registration, we grew 4 teams, more people, and even though we have Hope Mills Middle, we have Southview Middle, we have T.J. Robinson Center and our rec center, We still need more time at TJ Robinson Center for practices because with the schools, we have to work around their schedule. Even though we do have practices, we still have to work around the schools. So this extra time is needed to finish out the season.
LaMarco, how important has the relationship and the partnership been with working with the TJ Robinson Life Center?
It's been very important. In fact, we wish we had more practice time, but we can only work out 2 days out of the week because of other things going on with them. But very important. It'd be very, very difficult to give the teams the practices they need during the week if we didn't have it.
Thank you, LaMarco, because you really can't put a price tag of funding on the benefit that these team members are receiving as a partnership between the town and TJ Robertson Life Center. And if it wasn't for that organization, where would we be, LaMarco?
I don't know. I mean, and before TJ Robinson Center, we had called many of the private academies in town to see if we could practice there. I mean, TJ Robinson was our last resort. I know you all, it's kind of early to hear this, but I hope this shows the need that we need additional facilities because of the growth and
It does.
in our programs. So I know that's been a big discussion, and we've kind of, kicked it around a little bit, but at this point, it's not really a luxury. It's something that we're going to continue to grow, which we are. I mean, I'm sitting here looking at the additional developments and things of that nature, and pretty soon there's going to be a need to expand park facilities because of the growth. And right now, we're already behind the national standards as far as what's required based on the population and the mile radius required per neighborhood. Typically, you need at least a neighborhood park within a 2-mile radius of any neighborhood. And we got some far out areas that we're beginning to develop where we're not meeting that standard.
Well, LaMarco, you've heard me say this for 2 years. Our legislative delegates have heard me say it for 2 years. Last year's board heard me say this for those 2 years, so I will say it to this newly elected board. An additional recreational facility is not a want. It is a need. So here we are in January 2026. I will kick off that by saying something that I have said continuously for 2 years. Right, Chancellor? This is not a want. It is a need for our community. And I will continue to champion the request for an additional recreational facility at every opportunity I have. Any questions from the board?
Mayor, one thing I'd like to add, not to cut you off, Mayor Pro Tem, one thing we've done, and we try to get as creative as humanly possible. One thing we did in the adoption of the new zoning ordinance, there's language for these massive subdivisions, and there's a calculator. Based on the number of lots, there's a dedicated or at least usable open space requirement. So you're gonna see some of these larger subdivisions further out have park space. But the key word is missing is facilities. So yes, you may have outdoor recreation space in some of these new neighborhoods, but list the number of schools we're using right now for basketball.
3. Southview, we play games at Southview Senior High, but we use Southview Middle and Hope Mills Middle.
And in addition to TJ Robinson, that's 4 facilities we're using right now. And we're here asking for more time. And so that speaks directly to what you're talking about, Mayor, in terms of the need for an actual second facility, which we can't actually handle through the zoning regulations.
Thank you, Chancellor. Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you, Mayor. And just for clarity, can you explain for everybody the 4 teams? These are the kids that are playing in the area in the rec center?
Yes.
Yeah, so those are the sports that parents sign their kids up for and the things that the children are interested in doing.
Correct. And
LaMarco, while you're at the mic, and I know it's not included here, but can you give us a brief update on the damage to the basketball court?
So I didn't get a chance to call Victor Fontanas. We all know him as Vic Blends. He did call me today. The contractor did come out and assess the damage on last Friday, took the measurements, and was going to give me an estimate of what the cost would be. But thus far, replacing the fence, replacing the trash receptacles, and the benches, you know, we're already at about $12,000 already. So I don't, now, the entire court cost was around $56,000. We don't think it's gonna cost that, but a couple things. There's where we can patch the damaged area. One thing that we don't think we might be able to do is to splice back the liner. So there's a liner below the surface, then you have the surface. We may have to replace that whole liner, which is the entirety of the court. So I can get you that dollar amount tomorrow. I didn't get a chance to look at the estimate today because it's one of those things that I meant to do, just didn't get a chance to get back with them. But
you were here, LaMarco, and I just wanted just a brief update on where we are.
yeah,
Can you have something ready for the February 2nd meeting?
yes.
In case some board action may be required.
And hopefully by that time, if this is eligible for insurance,
Yeah.
we'll have that because I know Ricky's working on getting our insurance carrier down to assess the damage and give us an estimate of, if anything, what portion of that we're going to be responsible to pay.
Okay. Thanks, LaMarco.
Thank you.
And many thanks to your team
Thank you.
for everything that they provide to
We
us.
still need a motion though.
Yep, I'm getting ready to get to it. So, any further discussion? Okay.
I just want to thank you for answering all the questions.
you're
today. I know there was a lot of them. It just wasn't really clear to those of us that weren't involved in it originally.
Right.
So we didn't know what was going on. I didn't understand. And the last question I had, Chancellor answered for me, so we're good to go on everything.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I would like to thank the board for asking all these questions, because this is the strength of the agenda when it comes out as early as it does, is that we can clear a lot of these questions up, especially since this item was approved by a prior board. And the new board's coming in, of course, needs to have some questions answered.
Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead.
LaMarco will help greatly when you explain the end that there was that you picked up 4 additional teams, and that what created the additional cost.
Additional time, yeah.
That would have made, trust me, most of them questions would have went away on the front end.
Right. You know, sometimes you just assume people know things. You forget that everybody wasn't here during the
Yeah.
time that we did the initial. So,
I
yeah,
missed
but that's basically what happened. More people, more time, and more requirements of staff.
Okay.
Before I call for the vote, I just want to do one shout out to Charlotte Robertson and her family, because I'm going to tell you the partnership and the relationship we have between the town of Hope Mills and her facility is one saying, let's do good together, and that's what we're doing. And that's what this amendment continues to do. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make the motion to authorize the town manager to negotiate and execute an amendment to the original lease agreement with the T.J. Robinson Life Center and approval of a corresponding budget amendment 19 in the amount of $4,600.
We have a second?
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. All in favor? Seeing none opposed, motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next item is item 9. We're going to go into closed session, and that's personnel related. So bear with us. We're going to go into closed session, and then we'll return momentarily.
Mayor,
Leave our phones.
you didn't make the motion to go into closed session.
Yes. Hold up. Motion to go into closed session?
Motion to go into closed session.
Second?
Second.
Hang on, we need to cite the reason we're going in.
Oh, that's right.
I left out the whole thing.
Mayor.
Go ahead.
Motion to conduct closed session pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143-318-11A6 to discuss personnel matters.
Second?
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. All in favor? Seeing none opposed? Now we're going into closed session. All right. Thanks, everyone, for hanging around, waiting for us to return from closed session. Go ahead.
I move to seal the minutes of the closed session until such time as the release of the information would no longer frustrate the purpose of the closed session and further, no action was taken.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Item 10 on the agenda is the monthly reports and information items. I'm not going to read through all of those. Those are there. Item number 11 is staff comments. Any staff comments? None. Item number 12, do I have a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Second. Second. All in favor? We are adjourned. Thank you very much. We'll be back February 2nd.